Watched my high school acquaintance spiral into a social media scandal with 3 kids, a rocky engagement, and a family divided over wedding plans. So this girl I know from high school is getting married. We're both 22, for reference. In our senior year of high school she got pregnant, with baby daddy A, who will be referred to as Adam. Her super conservative parents kicked her out and she ended up moving in with a friend's family. She barely graduated high school. The only reason she did were because of the generosity and support of our teachers and students who volunteered to help her, which is how we met. We were in the same law class in the morning and she had the worst morning sickness that really affected her ability to be in class. So, I took extra notes for her, tutored her, and brought her stuff if she hadn't come back by the bell. I wasn't the only one who did stuff like this for her and I know she really appreciates all the assistance we gave her. She had the baby a month after we graduated. She'd signed up for a 911 dispatcher course for after high school because where we live it's a good steady job, with opportunity for certificates and promotions. But she didn't realize how intensive the course would be and had to drop out. She started working at a grocery store bakery, just until she had a better plan. Adam started an apprenticeship while working part-time at a hockey rink, and proposed to her literally the day of her 18th birthday, and brought up marriage because it's the right thing to do. I don't really agree with that, but this isn't about me, and she was always refusing. She started cheating on him after a while, we're all 19 now, and eventually leaves him for another guy because she's pregnant again and it is far more likely that this guy, baby daddy B, who will be referred to as Brad, is the father of the child. Neither of them can afford lawyers, so getting any kind of custody agreement is a mess, and then their parents got involved and they did 50-50 split, still not made official. She has the baby, that does turn out to be Brad's, and everything is okay for about 9 months, when she finds out Brad has been cheating on her with his TA. Brad decides to pay child support but doesn't really want contact with the kid, only around holidays and 1 weekend a month for his parents' sake. She moves back in with her parents, we're all 20 now, who only accept her back because there's grandchildren around. On the plus side, when she's 21, she gets to take that year-long dispatcher course, and passes with flying colors. After working as a dispatcher for a year, we're all 22 now, she meets a police officer we'll call Chad, who's 26 and married. And Adam's second cousin, I can't remember how they're related, just that Adam and Chad are related somewhat distantly. She has an affair with him. Infidelity is super common among cops apparently. She gets knocked up, his wife divorces him, Chad proposes because it's the right thing to do, she accepts, and her parents kick her out again for being a hum. She moves in with Chad with her 2 kids. They've started planning the wedding, which, given the background, is something akin to a dumpster fire. Adam is livid. He was desperately in love with this girl and hasn't really recovered from what she did to him, and while she rejected his proposals years ago, she's accepted one from his cousin who props for the same reason he did. Adam has basically made a call for loyalty in the family, dividing everyone one who should go, who should give money, etc. Plus they're having trouble planning anything because of COVID. Her parents have outright said that they're not going, along with half of her family, and her younger sister has been going around and sabotaging what plans they can make. She has asked me to be a bridesmaid. I said that I couldn't because I live in a different province now, but the truth is, I do not want to be wrapped up in that clusterfuck in any way. I'm just watching the arguments and events unfold on social media because this is quite honestly the most entertaining thing I've seen all year. It's weird to me that she even asked because we're not friends, we never have been. We were friendly strangers in high school, I just helped her out for one class because she needed help and I could give it to her. I was just being nice. But based on how she turned out, I'm just sad for her. 3 kids in 4 years, and she's alienated so much of her friends and family because of her actions, and I'm torn between feeling sorry for her and putting my head in my hands. We're from a city with over 400,000 people, she just comes from the neighborhood that is made of either Bible thumpers or white trash, with no in between. But the high school we went to was in a completely different neighborhood than that. Our school had a pretty good sex ed course, and they gave out free condoms and had resources to help girls get birth control, and they had programs in place for if students ever got pregnant / were going to be teen parents. They also had one of those classes with the dolls for girls who were high risk at teen pregnancy, but she wasn't high risk so she wasn't in that class. I don't know if BC just didn't work for her, or if she never tried it. She started alienating her friends after the affair with Chad came out, because people weren't exactly jumping for joy that she'd broken up a marriage. Chad and his ex didn't have any kids, thankfully, so there were less obstacles. When people weren't immediately ecstatic for her, she started getting very snippy, rude, and was calling the bitches out on social media for not supporting her new relationship or pregnancy. TBH, I'm really worried about her health because having this many babies so close together is just not good for her health, mental or physical. People are also worried that Chad will cheat on her if he'll cheat with you. He'll cheat on you and think she should avoid marrying him so that she can just leave him if it happens. I'll give you updates as they come out, but so far it's just a lot of yelling on social media, mostly from her, some relatives slut-shaming her, and people who are just really worried about her because, as funny as this is, this doesn't seem like healthy behavior. First off, I realized I never gave this girl a name. For the sake of clarity, we'll call her Beth. I realize that I didn't mention this before, but all of these are fake names. Second, to everyone commenting that Chad is at fault for his marriage breaking up, believe me, I'm well aware of that. It is his ex-wife and her family/friends who solely blame Beth. Chad is also older than her and has more life experience, so I do believe that he could potentially be taking advantage of her naivete. However, she is also an adult who is capable of making her own decisions and has chosen to make poor ones in the past. Third, people who are upset that I'm posting this story here, claiming I'm humiliating her. She has been posting about this mess on every social media platform she has since they got engaged in July. She put this out there long before I did, except she did so in front of friends, family, employers, and coworkers, as well as internet randos. Fourth, despite getting engaged in July and attempting to start planning then, I was only asked to be a bridesmaid 3 days ago. I knew that there was a mess going on, but I didn't really pay attention to it until she asked me to be a bridesmaid. I tried to ask what was going on. I said that she should talk to someone, but when she completely brushed me off, I checked her FB and Instagram and found out about all of this. Update 1. From the last update, 16th, lots of ranting and chaotic wedding planning on social media. She found a dress and has decided she will get married while pregnant. They found a local wedding venue that is very lovely, but I'm shocked she's still trying to book stuff with all of their previous venue cancellations. December 16th, her little sister unblocked her to call her s/out and tell her that all her wedding plans were stupid. This resulted in a petty and entertaining Facebook war until the little sis blocked her again on the 17th. December 18th, Beth went nuts on social media because Adam had kidnapped their daughter. What really happened is that because courts are moving at a snail's pace due to COVID and Adam had reason to believe that their daughter was not safe living with Beth, he decided to just not give her back. They don't have a custody agreement, and when Beth tried to call the cops they couldn't do anything because he was kinda right. There were dozens of videos on her various social media accounts of her ignoring their daughter, yelling at her daughter for crying or doing other things that toddlers do. It turns out that everything she needed was bought by Adam: food, diapers, clothes, toys, daycare, while it was open, etc., on top of the unofficial child support he was paying every month, which turned out to be $500 a month, a number I find ridiculous because Adam was already paying for literally everything, because she refused to buy anything for her daughter and insisted it was Adam's responsibility. Additionally, after the immediate post-birth appointments, Beth never took baby A to a doctor's appointment. She always deferred that to Adam. Baby A's pediatrician has never met Beth. Beth even tried to get Chad to push back or intimidate him or something, but the local police where we live are under one hell of a microscope after a bunch of dirty cops got busted a couple of years ago. Basically, the cops, and the social worker they ended up calling, ended up saying there was nothing she could do until they get to court. The social worker tried to get her to go to therapy and parenting classes, but Beth refused and went on a 15-paragraph long rant on Facebook about how she doesn't need parenting classes or therapy. She really does though, and called the social worker some choice words. December 19th to 24th, just a bunch of ranting on social media, calling everyone who doesn't enable or justify her behavior cuss words, slurs, and a whole bunch of other horribly creative things. Also, both she and Chad are under investigation at work now, but she has no idea why. I'm gonna take this time to remind everyone that 99% of this info is coming from her public social media pages where her coworkers are friends and place of employment is listed. December 25th, I am officially embarrassed to know this woman. I didn't go on her FB page until the evening cause I didn't want to deal with drama. First thing in the morning, on Christmas. In the morning she put on a very beautiful blue maternity dress, got Chad in his police blues, and baby B in a purple romper, and then live streamed her and her family going to the courthouse to get married on Christmas Day. According to her Twitter, part of this was because their newest venue canceled on them after COVID numbers spiked. Overall, a pretty tacky thing in my opinion because she stated plain as day, several times, that she intended her wedding anniversary to eclipse Christmas. For her children because it's just so much more special, you know? I am so glad that baby B's grandparents are filing for guardianship, but here's the thing. The courthouse isn't open. Because of COVID for one thing, but also because it's Christmas and Canada has a predominantly Christian history. She proceeded to have a full meltdown, and when baby B cried because, you know, the kid's mom was screaming up a storm and scaring her, Beth called her a very offensive name. Yup. So done with this person. December 28th, I ran into her at a vaccine clinic cause we were both getting our booster shots. She didn't recognize me at first, but one of my old bosses, cause I used to work at the hospital the vaccine clinic was in, called my name and said hi, so she came up to me after my old boss had left. We talked a bit while we sat down for the mandatory waiting period after getting the shot. She asked how I was but didn't even wait for me to respond before she started ranting and complaining about her life. I was just going to sit there until the time was up and then just politely make my exit, but when she started talking shit about her kids something inside me snapped. I just said, do you even like your kids? Do you like being a mom? She got pretty quiet for a second and then said no. Her voice and demeanor completely changed and we just sat in silence until our time was up. I said goodbye but it was really awkward. December 31st, today, I just looked at her feed and, this is such a shocking what the actual F/ moment. She's thinking about giving up her kids. She went on about how recently she was asked if she liked her kids or being a mom, and how she realized that she didn't. She hates her children and blames them for ruining her life, and how she doesn't want to be a mom. I mean, Nothing is official yet, but what the hell? I'll update as stuff happens now that I have the time, but this whole thing has been a big giant mess. Update 2. Beth and Chad stopped posting on all social media. I was actually a little worried she died. I mean, this woman posts everything short of her trips to the bathroom on IG. Oddly enough, this got people messaging or interacting with her social media pages because she was usually the one to start contact, and that contact was usually yelling. No one heard from them, and some people started to be like, should we call the cops for a wellness check? Until Chad posted a status saying that they're fine but are busy. Please stop trying to contact us right now. Everyone listened, but it was weird. January 11th, I got a notification that Beth and Chad are active on social media again, but I didn't feel like drama, so I didn't check out any of their posts. January 12th, today, she messaged me on FB asking me to be her mo. She also kept going on about the resort in Cancun that she and Chad were looking to have their wedding at. This coming February, Omicron is really bad where we are, so no one should be traveling anywhere. I've actually had to delay my trip back to the province where I go to university. No one should be traveling anywhere. Beth also found out that Chad was cheating on her with one of her coworkers and called the woman a homewrecker on FB, tagged her, and posted the text she found on Chad's phone. But Chad is the love of her life, so she's forgiven him, but not the other woman, which I find very hypocritical, considering how she and Chad got together. She also sent pics of possible bridesmaid dresses, and they are the most hideous dresses I've ever seen. I know that some brides do that thing where they want to look a million times better by comparison, but this was just ridiculous. One of them looked like a partially deflated balloon with feathers strapped to it. She also openly admitted that she expected everyone attending to pay $3,000, $2,000 would go towards that guests' stay at the resort and $1,000 would go to her and Chad, and they will expected wedding gifts, so that they could get their room for free. Apparently, she talked to someone at the resort, and if she got enough people to book their rooms, she and Chad would get theirs for free. She also wanted the money to be given to her instead of directly to the hotel so that people wouldn't realize that she was taking $1,000 of their money. Beth sent me a pic of the wedding dress she wanted, and it's definitely a clubbing dress. If that's what she wants, that's fine, and for the record, I do think she would look great in it, Beth's current dream wedding dress, but she wants all the guests to be dressed black tie. And she's already sent a list of unreasonable requests. Such as, honestly there's a lot more, but I didn't feel like typing all that out. She's posted the list on FB and IG, and people are already calling her a bridezilla. I was also just kinda weirded out because aside from the previous convo at the hospital and when she originally asked me to be a bridesmaid, we haven't spoken since high school. So I respectfully declined, stating that the virus and school were my top concerns right now. Then, I decided to check her socials to see if she'd posted anything. She had, and everything was basically how it was before the hiatus, except her kids are nowhere to be found. No look at my cute baby pics or kids crying in the background of her videos. Nothing. Though, based on her new pics of herself, she's given birth to baby C. I mean, she's definitely still recovering, but she also definitely had a baby, and that baby is not on any of her socials. So when she responded to my decline with an attempt at guilting me to be her mo, I asked her where her kids were. This was her response: "Oh, I left them at the side of the road on our way home from the hospital. Those moochers could walk home, lol." I was like, please tell me you're not being serious, especially cause it looks like she had the baby days ago. And she replied, "I was just joking, you shouldn't be so serious all the time. Honey, you made a joke about child abandonment/abuse, you're not being serious enough." And then I finally got the update on the kids, and when I rejoined our convo, she said the doc she had for baby C gave her birth control, and she was surprised cause after her first pregnancy she asked her doctor for it, but he refused to give her any. She mentioned that her old doctor was also her mom's and sister's doctor. She ended up asking the doc who delivered baby C to be her new doctor, so I hope that works out. After learning all this, my convo with Beth started to go downhill. Beth, wait, did you actually think I would just leave my kids at the side of the road? I just didn't want to be a mom, but I wasn't a bad one. Me, Beth, I think that you've been through a lot of trauma in the past few years, and that it's gotten to you mentally, and that you should speak to a professional. Beth, what? You think I'm crazy? Me, no. I think that getting kicked out as a teen because of a pregnancy and having your family actively reject you and try to sabotage you must have been very painful. Plus, pregnancy puts a lot of mental stress on women, and you've had 3 in such a short time span. I just want you to take care of yourself and get what you want in life, and I think that will start with you taking care of your mental health. Beth, what I want is for you to go straight to hell. Beth then calls me every cuss word, expletive, and derogatory word she can think of. One of the words she called me was a derogatory word about people from my ethnicity, and my blood is boiling that she thought it was okay to say that to me. So, I'm now on her hit list. She's been blowing up my social media all day. On her last FB post where she called me a slur, she said that she still expects a good wedding gift from me. Yeah, no. So I've blocked her on everything, and I've decided to completely cut off contact. This will be my last update. TLDR, Beth went on a social media blackout for a bit, had baby C, gave up all her kids. Baby A is still with Adam, baby B and baby C are with a mutual cousin of Adam and Chad, and baby B's grandparents have access. Chad cheated on her and she forgave him, but she probably shouldn't have. She's decided to have her wedding in a little over a month in Cancun and is expecting unreasonable things of everyone already. She asked me to be Mo. I respectfully declined. I also suggested that she talk to a mental health professional because she's been through a lot in the last few years, and she cussed me out. She also called me a derogatory name directed at people of my ethnicity, and that was the final nail in the coffin. I'm now on her hit list. But her kids are safe and I have no interest in going to weddings, so I'm cutting contact completely and have already blocked her on all my socials. Alright, so I know I said that was my last update, but come on, it's 2024, the story just keeps writing itself and it's like this mess refuses to die quietly, and so many people from our old high school have been sliding into my DMs to make sure I've seen what's going on. If you're new to this train wreck, brace yourself, because Beth's saga somehow managed to implode even harder than before. After I blocked Beth everywhere, I lived in blissful ignorance for a couple of months. There was a sort of eerie silence, no tagged callouts on Facebook, no blurry makeup selfies with cryptic fake friends captions, just peace. Then, a mutual, let's call her Jay, messaged me in late March, "You need to see Beth's TikTok." I ignored it, obviously. That lasted only until Jay sent me a screen recording, and okay, I caved and watched. First, Beth hadn't actually gotten married in Cancun. Apparently, the resort refused to finalize the booking because she tried to pull the "give me the money and I'll handle it" scam with half the guest list, and when people got wise to the $1,000 padding for Beth and Chad's room, a bunch bailed. Then Omicron round 2 hit, so Chad's vacation leave was cancelled, since, he's a cop, and Beth did what she does best, took to social and went nuclear. Cue a 5-part TikTok saga exposing how jealous, ungrateful freeloaders ruined my special day and stole from a pregnant single mom. Direct quote, except she wasn't pregnant anymore, but wait, the comments. Oh god, the comments. It started as her usual tiny following defending her, but then someone with a big true crime TikTok stitched her video. She had screenshots of all Beth's old rants, from calling her own kid a CNT, to airing other people's dirty laundry. That went viral. Next thing you know, Beth's public rants are being stitched, duetted, parodied, her wedding guest registry extortion was suddenly on everyone's For You page. People dug up the call-out post she'd made when Chad cheated, and then someone else posted receipts from the resort group chat, which included a spreadsheet Beth herself made breaking down who'd paid and who hadn't. Her Venmo was wide open and people were scrolling her feed for more drama. Beth, thinking she's about to be famous, starts leaning in. She ditches the wedding altogether and remakes herself as a mom of zero, Canadian drama queen, here for messy vibes not babies. She announces, apparently with no irony, that she's done with men, marriage, and motherhood for good. Chad, for his part, has deleted every trace of her. He's since been suspended from the police force for personal misconduct. The specifics aren't public, but rumor is his wife's family pressed harassment charges when he kept showing up at her workplace after their divorce. That, plus the infidelity, with the dispatcher, who, it turns out, was also married, means he's persona non grata in the local PD group chat and has left the province for a fresh start. Now, most people would get some quiet, maybe lick their wounds, but this has never been Beth's style. With no kids and no wedding, she decides she's going to use her internet notoriety to become an influencer. Her plan niche? Ex-mom life, as if it's a relatable lifestyle. She makes explainer videos about choosing your own freedom over family, battling baby daddy drama, and why you should never share credit card info with relatives. For a hot minute, she amasses a few thousand followers who love a good train wreck. But then, plot twist, a local news reporter catches wind of the story, supposedly because Beth applied for a single mom who triumphed over adversity profile designed to promote social services. This kicks off a chain reaction. The local children's aid workers, the ones Beth cussed out back in December, see the videos and open a new investigation, not into her, but into how custody arrangements happen so fast and why no formal legal transfer exists. Turns out, Adam never properly got full custody of their daughter, he just kept her. Baby B's grandparents were housing their grandchild out of province on an informal agreement, and Baby C's paperwork was incomplete. Suddenly, all the families are dragged back to family court and everyone is forced to give sworn depositions. And, because the universe loves chaos, it leaks to local drama Facebook that Beth is trying to apply for the same dispatcher job she got fired from, except now she's starting rumors about her own firing, blaming it on toxic females at work who couldn't handle her outspokenness. Meanwhile, screenshots keep popping up of her TikToks, and more than a few local businesses have started blocking her online. Word to the wise, don't try to be a brand ambassador if you're willing to post screenshots of your unpaid electric bill to shame your utility company. The real kicker, Beth tries to do an apology tour once it's clear that none of her original supporters are left. She writes a 5-paragraph long notes app apology that's almost self-aware. Buried in the second paragraph, I'm trying to heal, I know I made mistakes, being a mom was never what I thought it would be, and honestly, I'm not sure it's what I'm meant for, sorry to everyone who tried to help, sorry to the babies I couldn't love right, it's not an excuse but I'm getting professional help now. Online? No one buys it. But in real life, people start to quietly confirm, Beth did, eventually, start seeing a counselor, one she hadn't burned bridges with already. I guess there's a bit of hope there, if only because therapy seemed a billion years overdue and maybe, just maybe, when you run out of fights to pick, you have to try looking at yourself. You'd think this would be the end, but nah. Last week, she popped up again. Turns out, she's engaged. Again. This time, to someone she hadn't mentioned at all online, an older guy she met in a Facebook marketplace group, who bought her a used iPad in exchange for Instagram consulting. I swear on everything, I'm not making this up. She posted a soft launch photo, just the guy's tattooed arm and the ring, with the caption, "Some people get a third chance, lucky me gets a fourth." I peeked at the dude's socials and, well, he seems harmless. Mostly posts about fishing and manifesting positive energy. But honestly, I'm out for good. Every time Beth devours another chunk of her own life on social media, it's like watching that trashy TV show you pretend not to love, but then it goes on 5 seasons too long and you have to ask yourself, what's the point? I hope she is in therapy, I hope she really does figure her stuff out. Any more plot twists, and I'll let the tabloids cover it. For now, Beth, I'm putting your saga back in the blocked folder, with my only hope being you let your kids have one shot at normalcy, far away from Facebook live videos and influencer-era rants. Alright, so here's your newest unhinged dispatch from Beth World, because apparently, one last update is the biggest lie of my adult life. It's now deep into spring 2024, and the aftershocks of Beth's meltdowns have gone from viral TikTok drama to what feels, honestly, like a small-scale suburban reality show with even fewer boundaries. First off, Beth's social media blackout was short-lived. By mid-February she'd soft-launched her new influencer persona with a rebrand, bright pink logo, a slogan, "From shame to shameless," and a barrage of stories about leaving toxic motherhood behind. She's doubled down on the ex-mom angle as her brand, holding regular live streams titled things like "Selfish Heels," "Why I Gave Up My Kids and My Guilt and You Only Regret the Kids You Keep." The tone swerves between radical honesty and manipulative overshare, like, at any minute she's about to start selling life coaching sessions to desperate single girls. Honestly, it's grimly fascinating, like watching someone try to win at Twitter by purposely stepping on rakes. And yes, by now her audience has split into 3 camps, those who are trainwreck watching, those who root for redemption, and a small army of mommy shaming warriors who treat her like the boss level of internet villainy. The comment wars are relentless. Threads about her have reappeared on at least 2 local subreddits, and people in her old neighborhood found her videos and started cross-referencing details. Some even posted about seeing her filming stories in the grocery store. She was ranting in the bakery aisle. No one's safe. The real plot blew up in March, though, when Child Services, who got wind, yes, via her public TikToks and a tip-off from angry Facebook moms, actually stepped in to sort out the totally informal kid situation. This involved actual home visits to her old place, Adam's apartment, and even the home of Baby B's grandparents. Beth, unbothered, turned this into a multi-part story arc, vlogging herself cooperating with state harassment while posing in oversized sunglasses and a Not Your Martyr hoodie. Details spilled, turns out the handover of the kids had been even messier than anyone realized. Adam had tried for custody, but without lawyers, the filings were incomplete, so everything reverted to status, actively under review. Baby B's grandparents were frantically calling lawyers, and the cousin with Baby C had to produce receipts for every single medical visit since birth, and yes, Beth blasted the cousin's real name to her followers, claiming kidnapping. In a twist that's either infuriating or poetic, the courts opted to maintain status quo due to best interests of the children, but now with, finally, formalized legal custody, no more back alley agreements and grandma's spare room as the only paperwork. Adam finally gets supervised visits for the younger kids, and the cousin's role is now legit, despite Beth's tearful livestream claiming she'd been robbed. Meanwhile, Chad is completely out of the picture. He relocated to the Maritimes, disabled all social accounts, and his name's been hushed up by everyone, probably hoping for the whole mess to fade away as quickly as possible. Nobody misses him. Beth's job prospects, meanwhile, are a disaster. She did actually try getting rehired as a dispatcher, using a burner resume, which isn't nearly as clever as she thinks it is, since, the city's HR people also follow local TikTok drama. She also applied to several social media consultant roles, but you know how the internet works. Everyone Googles and finds the saga. The best is when someone posted in a jobs group, "Anyone having trouble with this influencer wanting $300 and a gift card to critique my LinkedIn?" Legendary. The part that genuinely made my jaw drop, though, is the pseudo-documentary angle. Somebody from a production company, think true crime meets mommy blogger villain, DM'd Beth and wanted to hear her truth for an exposé on messy suburban social dramas. Beth ate it up, going live to announce she'd finally have her say without censorship, just the raw facts. She posted screenshots of papers and old messages, most heavily edited and some clearly fake. I know at least half the ones involving me never happened. And then the coup de grace, one of her haters from the old neighborhood posted her own receipts, voice messages, texts, even that group chat spreadsheet with Beth's wedding extortion plan in full. The comments were a war zone for days. Yet, out of nowhere, another curveball, Beth's newly announced engagement. The fiancé, Craig, a 44-year-old spiritual entrepreneur with a fondness for healing crystals and abundance workshops. Their how we met story, she replied to his Facebook Marketplace ad for a second-hand ring light. The comments, predictably, were gold. Is he also accepting donations for his wedding room? Can you manifest child support? Her posts now feature hashtag soulmateenergy and deeply cringe couple photos in matching activewear, available for collab, naturally. But the drama that feels the most real, the most unexpected, is that Beth actually, for once, shut up for a while. Rumor has it, court-mandated counseling might have finally started. She posted once, a single photo of a shadowy waiting room, caption starting over is hard. Pray for me, and then nothing for almost 3 weeks. Some say she's finally unplugging. Others think it's just the eye of the storm. Meanwhile, her kids? Adam posts bright, happy photos of baby A at science camp. The cousin has a locked-down private Instagram, but every once in a while you see a shot of 3 little ones at the park.